Sooner Scoop HD.
Porter, you may have heard Tanner mention it, but he was talking about how, these games have been there for the taking, but it's come down to possession here, possession there. But he's talking about particularly focusing on the defense in the last 3 or 4 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm.
Just what have you seen from the defense in the last couple of games, and what can they, what lessons can the team learn about those last few minutes defensively?
It's everything. You can point to missed shots or miss that, but you got to get stops. And in 4 of our 5 losses, to where Sam Houston, Villanova, Texas, and Iowa State, all those games under 4 minutes, for some reason, our defense, whether they hit shots or not, but it's 4 for 4 the last 4 shots, 5 of 6. I mean, we've got all 4 games statted up. Actually, I think I got it right here. And that's just we've got to get stops down the stretch. I mean, you can't, if you miss a shot late, you can't think about it. You got to guard. And that's what, if you look in the last 2 possessions they had, we were kind of going back and forth scoring. We missed a ball screen coverage. We didn't switch, and the freshman went up and made a basket, went up 2. We came back and answered, came back now with 36 seconds left. They ran a little stack play, and Grill looped up, and they had about 5 feet of separation, caught it, and then we tried to make up and contest it, but the shot was already out of his hands. So small margin of error. I know we talked to you guys about that, or actually I said on my radio show last night that, that any given Sunday, that quote about an inch, the difference between winning and losing. In this league, it's possession by possession. Everything matters. Ball screen coverage, it matters, at the end of the game. In the first half, everything matters, and we've got to particularly get some really good stops at the end, and we just haven't been able to do that.
Good, Eli. I don't know how much you've been able to watch around the league this week. You're focused here, but you talked about it before the league play began, about how tough this league would be. Do you have any early impressions of what's gone on?
I have, because especially when you're watching, I watched Iowa State, Baylor tape preparing for Iowa State. I've watched Kansas, Texas Tech. I've watched TCU, Texas Tech. And obviously then we scouted Texas. It just caught a couple on the tube watching, but, not surprised. It's what I thought, just unbelievably physical. And when you get in it, it's even more physical. Like that Iowa State game was just so incredibly physical. Watching Texas Tech Kansas game, just I don't know another league that's playing as physically as in of a game than the Big 12 right now, and just high level. You can just feel it when you play. The defenses, you gotta. Little things matter. Cutting, screening, V-cutting to get open, intensity of how you run your offense. You've got to have it at a high level in this league.
Bob?
Yeah. Porter, you mentioned physicality. Is that taking a toll a bit on Grant Sherfield, and what's sort of been his mentality since Wednesday night?
The mentality's got to be of understanding that he's earned a top spot on people's scouting report. And with that comes a lot. Working harder. Maybe you might have to loosen it up by getting it out of a trap, and moving it in some other guys. You've got to be able to work harder to get your cuts, take them harder off screens. Maybe get an easy basket playing with a different gear in transition. You got to. You can't be surprised if they're up into you a little harder. It is the Big 12, and he's one of our best players. So, and I just heard Tanner talking him through that. Grant has been off to a phenomenal start for us. We need him to play well in the Big 12. We need that, and I'm confident he's gonna.
Go back, Joey.
Yeah, just from a matchup standpoint, what do you see from these guys? Banner's been there a long time. Yeah. Davion played here, of course, just surely from a matchup standpoint.
Yeah, that'd be the word that I would think of with O'Banner. He's a matchup problem because he's shooting the ball so well. He's bigger to shoot it over smaller guys. If you switch, he's going to roll you into the post. He's really effective posting up and he's really effective shooting the ball. So I think he's playing. Like I said, I haven't seen all the teams in the league up close, but like watching him on tape, he's off to an amazing start this year. He looks like he's. I know they had Bryson Williams and McCullough last year, but he looks like he's like, this is my team. That's how he's playing. Then they got Pop Isaacs, Davion, very athletic guards. Lamar Washington comes off the bench. Tyson is the kid that was there, then went to Texas and came back. A big guy that can shoot it. Bacho, they got 3 or 4 bigs that can really be physical. It's a matchup thing with O'Banner, but everything else is about physically how they're going to get in you. Every one of them is going to guard you like up in you, and then you got to deal with the crowd. It's one of the best atmospheres in the country. I mean, it's going to be really loud, and you got to be able to handle their runs. We got to be able to handle their runs when they start getting going, because they did. They went on a run the other night. I mean, they can get on a run, a 10-2 run just like that in that building.
I'll go to Eli. I asked Tanner about between Texas and Iowa State, the difference in his game and the foul trouble. What were some of the conversations between those 2 games, and what did you see him do better in terms of managing himself and ultimately staying out of foul trouble?
Yeah, one of the things with Tanner is, doing his work early a little bit. Like he got 2 fouls jumping out on a ball screen late, and they attacked him, and he was moving. Doing his work early, and man, he's had some. When he does his work early and gets out on ball screens, he's very mobile. Like he's not as but when you get behind the play because you're late, I think that's when he's got some of his fouls. I think he's playing way more physical this year in the paint. I think he's being way more physical. We need him to rebound in traffic better, but we need the guards to help him with that. And what I mean by that, when there's bodies down there, when there's not a lot of bodies, he'll come flying in and get it. But when all the bodies are banging, he's got to be able to take that hit and go up and get a rebound in traffic. But not only, he needs help. I mean, guards got to rebound down. There was a rebound, 2 rebounds that Oshun got for Iowa State, and Tanner and him were kind of bodying up, and he's got unbelievably long arms. But that's when a guard's got to come down and try to rebound down. So we need help with that. But I'm seeing him play physical. His passion and will to win is always there. There's a thing that I think, I was actually going to tweet it out. There's a thing that I really believe in that I think all young athletes should hear. And it is, do you want to win? Yeah, you want to win. I mean, you have a serious problem if you don't want to win. Everybody wants to win. All right. The question is, are you willing to do what it takes to win? And getting in the gym and shooting a couple hundred jump shots, that means you're willing to get better as a player and get better at your shot. Getting in there and, work on your ball handling. That means you're willing to be a better ball handler. Willing to win is, are you going to do the things that your team needs you to do to help you win? Are you going to get on the floor? Are you going to be on top of the coverages? Are you going to set a hard screen? Are you going to be in the right spacing? Are you going to run the floor every time? Are you going to mentally handle something that doesn't go your way for the benefit of the team? Those are all things that are you willing to do what it takes to win? It's different than wanting to win. Everybody wants to win. And I think that's a message that all young athletes in any sport needs to hear. There's a difference. And Tanner's willing to do the things that we need to do to win. He's on top of it. He's selfless. He's on top of defensive game plans, offensive game plans. He's really, he wants to win at no cost. And that's what I love about Tanner.
Anybody have additional?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jalen Hill strikes me
Yeah.
as another one of those
Oh.
guys that just wants to win all the time.
He-
And he's now giving it to you guys from 3-point range.
Yeah.
I mean, he talked about how much he had worked on that in the offseason, just how much of a boost he's an all-around guy, but now he's giving that to you guys.
100%. I mean, just staying with it for him, his work's paying off because he shot all summer. And even in like this summer and leading up, he was shooting it. And then he didn't get off the sea. Then he got this mask, and that was all. And he's in a great place that way. But the thing also about Jalen, for sure, is in that mode what I was just talked about. Is he's willing to do the things he needs to do to win. The other thing is when you get so consumed with competing and consumed about winning, you lose yourself in terms of you lose your selfishness. You know, lose all the, you know, get past mad, sad, lose yourself in this, and be consumed with what you need to do to win. Jalen Hill's consumed with what he needs to do to win. And I think when you just dive into that consumption of what you got to do to win and what in the moment and what you're here, and not be worried about a lot of other individual stuff, basketball guys reward you. Your play's better. Your mind's right, your game's right. If your mind's wrong, your game's wrong. And I think that's something that Jalen is just, his mind is stayed on just being consumed with about winning and making winning plays.
You mentioned CJ had his best couple practices leading up Iowa State. Where's Joe at right now? How has he been fighting through like the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's I met with Joe yesterday. Met with Tega yesterday. It's you heard Darvin Ham with the Lakers say to the guys on the Laker thing, he's like, you know, my stay ready guys. And that's hard. To be a stay ready guy is hard. Because every day you get your hopes up, and if you don't get the thing, it's hard to keep staying ready. But what's the alternative? Not being ready? You know, it's really the only thing, you got to stay ready. And talk to him about that, because there is no other alternative. It's hard to stay ready and keep working on being, you know, getting ready and stay, because you just never know your opportunity with that. And that's something that I think that those guys got to continue to do.
Sooner Scoop HD.